Good morning. It's Tom Padula from TomPadulaTV on YouTube and Insegna Booksellers. And this morning, it's Sunday, the 14th of August, 2022, and we're doing Canto 7 of Purgatorio, work by Dante, who produced the Divina Commedia with Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso. Now, I've explained before that you can go to this page or the YouTube channel or to my Insegna.com blogs where you will find the Inferno work that I've already done, a reading of Dante and an explanation in English, well, an initial sort of an introductory explanation of what the canto is all about. So there's a lot more work to be done with each one, of course, if you want to be a student of the Divina Commedia. Welcome to Curtis L. Tolman. Thank you very much for coming on. Good to see a few people coming in when I start these podcast lessons, and also Angela Dorisio. Now, we are doing Purgatorio Canto 7. The first 5 minutes, of course, is my introduction, and then I will go into this particular canto, and following that, I'll do something from my books, Amica Poesia, and of course, then the Italian songs will follow later on, towards the end of the podcast, of this presentation, of this lesson, whatever you want to call it. This week has been an interesting one in that I have begun also to go to Il Carretto restaurant, where they've given me a little corner that I can use on a Wednesday from 3:30 till 5. And there I will meet people who want to come and see me and join Coro all'improvviso. In other words, we're going to sing Italian songs together. So whoever comes, we can join in. Of course, I know it's difficult for people to get out, but eventually I'm going to pursue my passion. And some people are saying to me, "What are you doing it for?" And I said, why do you go on, online and do all this? Because I realized that here in Melbourne, there are people of the second, third, fourth generation Italo-Australians and also people of non-Italian background who are interested, in fact, in Italian language and culture. Welcome to Angela Dorisio. Good to see you this morning. Ciao. Okay, so that's where we're at. That's what was important. And the other one is the last Sunday of each month, I will be at Federazione Lucana from 3:30 till 5. So you get there about 3:15. It's in Brunswick. Welcome to Henry Varelas. And yes, good morning to you too, Harry. So I will be there the last Sunday of each month. And the aim is the same, is to gather some people and create an interest in Italian culture here in Melbourne and meet occasionally with the people who come on. And as Machiavelli says, da cosa nasce cosa e il tempo la governa. Welcome to Antonio Carlos Zaccaria. And I know you are not here in Melbourne. I think you're from South America somewhere. Well, good to have someone else interested in the Divina Commedia. What is Purgatorio? Purgatorio is very much different from Inferno. Inferno is a punishment of sins committed by people who who have not received the grace of God. In other words, they don't believe in Him. It wasn't part of their life. They just kept going. So if they were born before the birth of Christ and before it was declared the Son of God, then they didn't have the opportunity to receive divine grace according to the theologians of the Middle Ages. So what happens here is that then they were placed in limbo at the beginning of hell. And Virgil is the guide, is Dante's guide through Inferno and Purgatorio. And he was allowed to go into Purgatorio even because he was free of, of mortal sins. Now, Dante himself is allowed to go into the three areas of this divine world, and with his body. So, in other words, when the sun was shining, the souls there could see the shadows, and because they were just spirits, they were very curious about him wherever he went. And Virgil actually helped him a lot that way, but sometimes Dante actually helped Virgil with the questions that he asked. Now, welcome to Angela Imela. It's good, and it's good this morning that we are going to cover the Anti-Purgatorio. They call it the Secondo Balzo. Welcome to Maria Failla. Valletta dei Principi Negligenti. This is that's 11:31, and I've gone a little bit over with my explanation, but I will start with Purgatorio now, and I will start with first of all a little summary of this canto. Okay, Virgil identifies himself to Sordello. Don't forget, Sordello was in the previous canto, explaining that he has been barred from heaven for his lack of Christian faith. Sordello humbly embraces Virgil around the knees, praising him as the pioneer of Latin literature, because Sordello came from the same area as Virgilio, from Mantova, in Lombardia. So Sordello wants to know more about Virgil's eternal fate. So Virgil explains that limbo, though melancholy, is not as grievous and painful as the rest of hell. Then Virgil asks Sordello how to reach Purgatory proper. Sordello explains that there is no fixed path and adds that no one is permitted to climb overnight. It's a law of Mount Purgatory. Now, next week, I'll get ready with my cones and I'll show you the difference between hell and Purgatorio and how the scheme works in both of these books. Sordello leads Dante and Virgil to a cliff because he says, look, I'll take you there, since he had un paesano, Virgilio says, I'll take you to the door, which you can start climbing into Purgatorio proper. Virgil to a cliff overlooking a valley filled with beautiful flowers and sweet aroma, where they can pass the night in pleasant company, because they're not allowed to go up during the night. In the valley is gathered a group of souls singing Salve, Regina in unison. Sordello identifies the members of the group, amongst them the Emperor Rudolph, the Prince of Ottokar, and England's King Henry. And is there anyone else? Emperor Rudolph as well. And then there's also, these figures are in Purgatory because during life they were too preoccupied with worldly matters to attend to their souls. But they did good things in terms of the populations they served, therefore, and they believed in God, but they didn't ask for formal forgiveness at the end. And this is where the church, then the temporal part of the church, became very powerful in the Middle Ages, because they said you have to do the following the various meetings. They decided on the laws of the church, and one of the laws was, you have to have the extreme unction. You have to ask for forgiveness formally before you die. But if you believe, it doesn't matter. It's sort of, God gives you a bit of extra punishment for not following the church's rules. So there you are. Okay, an analysis on each of these three major tiers of purgatory, ante Purgatorio, or the lower terraces, and the lower and upper levels of Purgatorio proper, an interpreter appears who can guide Virgil and Dante. On the lower terraces, Sordello fills this role. Virgil explains to Sordello that he dwells in limbo, the level of hell where the unbaptized and so-called virtuous pagans do not endure torment but are nevertheless denied the bliss of God's presence. Now, of course, where do I get my material from? Very simply, from the books and online. And I also give my own interpretations as we go along. So I'm doing my best, whatever we can. Now, as a result of that, you got the gist. Now, let's read Purgatorio, Canto 7. And if you have the book, it would help a lot to follow the train of thought. Here we go. Poscia che l'accoglienze oneste e liete furo iterate 3 e 4 volte, Sordel si trasse e disse: voi chi siete? Anzi che a questo monte fossero volte l'anime degne di salire a Dio, fur l'osse mie per Ottavian sepolte. Io son Virgilio, e per null'altro rio, lo ciel perdei che per non aver fe. So, Sordello asks Virgilio, who are you? Why are you here? Mandovan, why are you here? He says, because I was born before the birth, before Christ arrived. Therefore, God in his own ways decided that the pagans would stay in limbo. They wouldn't be punished. The good ones, of course. The bad ones, as we've seen, even the mythological figures, they were given a role. Lo ciel perdei per non aver fe. Così rispose allora il duca mio: qual è colui che cosa innanzi a sé subita vede, onde si meraviglia, che crede non, dicendo ella è, non è? Tal parve quelli. So in other words, it sort of had to, Sordello had to think, what does he mean by all this? He had to think a bit, yes, and etc. So he was considering the answers that Virgilio was giving. Tal parve quello, e poi chinò le ciglia e umilmente ritornò per lui e abbracciò la ve il minor s'appiglia. So, and Sordello realizes that Virgilio is a very important Mantovano, and he gets on his knees and kisses the final part of his dress, costume, whatever. O gloria di Latin, disse, per cui mostrò ciò che potea la lingua nostra. E pregio eterno dell'o con Dio fui, qual merito e qual grazia mi ti mostra. Thank you, Virgilio, for being a Latin writer, a writer of a great work. It's like, you know, Virgilio then, Dante after. But Sordello thanks him for doing that work for Latino, which is the precursor to Italian, la lingua nostra. O gloria di Latin disse, per cui mostrò ciò che potea la lingua nostra, o pregio eterno dell'o con Dio fui, qual merito e qual grazia mi ti mostra. S'io son l'udir le tue parole degne, dimmi se vien d'inverne e di qual chiostra. Since you wrote all this, you know, if you come from hell, you know, and how come you went through? Welcome to Arlene, Diana Arlene. S'io son d'udir qualcosa, per tutti i cerchi del dolente regno, cioè you came through, rispose lui, son io di qua venuto, I came right through, they allowed me to go through. Virtù del cielo mi mosse, in other words, God's willed that I would be the guide through the three ladies in paradise, one of whom being Beatrice. Virtù del cielo mi mosse, e con lei vegno. And I come with this grace, otherwise I wouldn't be allowed in. Non per far, ma per non fare ho perduto a veder l'alto tutto sol che tu disiri e che tu tardi per me conosciuto. So in other words, I'm not here to do anything at all. Whereas you've got the opportunity to do this and to then enter paradise, which I am not allowed to enter even, not even as a guide. Luogo è là già non tristo di martiri, ma di tenebre solo, ove i lamenti non suonano come guai, ma son sospiri. Luogo è laggiù, in other words, in hell, non tristo di martiri, ma di tenebre solo. There's only punishment down there. This is not a martyrdom that you come into Purgatorio and then eventually you'll be able to see the sunshine of paradise. Qui vi sto io coi pargoli innocenti, I am here with the unbaptized, dai denti morsi della morte avante, che forse dall'umana colpa assenti, and even the children who were born but not baptized, and that's why some people still today believe they should baptize the children straight away, just in case. Ok? Che forse dall'umana colpa assenti. Qui vi sto io con quei che le tre sante virtù non si vestiro e senza vizio conobber l'altre a seguir tutte quante. And this he mentions the three sante, the three ladies from heaven, la Madonna, etc. Ma se tu sai e puoi alcun indizio da noi perché venir possiamo piuttosto là dove Purgatorio ha dritto inizio. So, I've told you all this. Now, if you could help me, I would appreciate it if you show me the doors leading to Purgatorio proper, so we can start la salita of the mount, going up. Rispose, that's sordello. Loco certo non c'è posto. Licito me andare suso e intorno. I'm not allowed to go up yet, you know what I mean? But I can go around close by. Per quanto ir possa, a guida mi t'accosto. So I'll be your guide. Ma vedi già come dichina il giorno. But look, the day is coming, the night is coming. E andar su di notte non si può. You can't go up there in the night. Però è buon pensar di bel soggiorno. Anime sono a destra qua remote, but there's a lovely place close by that you can stay the night, and there are beautiful souls there, and you'll meet them, and you know it's a beautiful environment. Anime sono a destra qua remote. Se mi consenti, io ti merrò ad esse. If you allow me, I'll take you there, and non senza diletto ti fier note, and so you will enjoy the company, I'm sure. Come ciò fu risposto, chi volesse salir di notte fora egli impedito d'altrui o non saria che non potesse. How come is this, you know, the reply was, chi volesse salir di notte, whoever wanted to go at night, fora egli impedito, so they are excluded from there. E il buon sordello in terra fregò il dito dicendo, vedi, solo a questa riga non varcheresti dopo il sol partito. So you can't go past this particular line once the sun goes down. Vedi, solo a questa riga non varcheresti dopo il sol partito, non però ch'altra cosa desse briga, che la notturna tenebra a dir suso, quella col non poder la voglia intriga. So then he sort of explains about the role of the night and the relationship with the day. Ben si poria che lei tornate in giuso e passeggiar la costa intorno errando, mentre che l'orizzonte il dì tien chiuso. Again, some of the things here, you know, my explanations need extra bits. So where I can't understand it very well, because I need the notes, that's where you come in with your study of Dante's in Purgatorio. So I don't have to give you the whole lot, and I don't know the whole lot. I'm a humble servant to Dante's Divina Commedia. So that's where it is, that I am trying my best with it, because I don't read it beforehand. I just very quickly, and then I look up some notes, but to really know something, you really have to stay on it. Okay, so that's my little bit, my contribution to my ignorance, if you like. Allora il mio Signor quasi ammirando, so my Lord, quasi, that's Virgilio. Menane disse dunque, là ve dici che aver si può diletto dimorando. Bring us there, menare, menane, us, bring us there, disse. Dunque là ve dici che aver si può diletto dimorando, and there you will enjoy yourself. Poco allungati c'eravamo di lici quando io m'accorsi che il mondo era scemo, a guisa che i vallon li sceman quici. Colà disse quell'ombra n'anderemo, dove la costa face di sé grembo, e là il nuovo giorno attenderemo. We'll go that side there, okay? And that's a nice place, even though it's down from the Mount of Purgatorio. Tra erto e piano era un sentiero schembo che ne condusse in fianco della lacca, là dove più che a mezzo muore il lembo. Oro e argento fine, cocco e biacca, indaco, legno lucido e sereno, fresco smeraldo, in l'ora che si fiacca. So, in Purgatorio, you know, can you imagine a sunset in a place where there are trees and beautiful flowers, etc., etc.? They acquire different types of colors. So, which are the colors here? Oro e argento, gold and silver. Fine, cocco e biacca, indaco, which is red. Legno lucido, marrone, e sereno fresco, smeraldo, green. In l'ora che si fiacca, in the air that goes down. Dall'erba e da di fior, dentro quel seno posti, ciascun saria di color vinto, come dal suo maggiore vinto il meno. Non aveva pur natura ivi dipinto. So nature couldn't have done a better job than this, with all these colors on the beautiful trees, cespugli, bushes, and flowers of all types. Sanno la vita sua viziata e lordo. Let me see until I better check the page. 133. No? Yes, there's something in the middle here. There we are. Ma di soavità di mille odori. There's also beautiful smells. Vi faceva uno incognito e indistinto. And then, salve regina, in sul verde sui fiori, quindi seder cantando anime vidi. So that's Dante explains. Che per la valle non parean di fuori. So they had a place all for themselves, and they were saying, salve regina. So they are next in line to go up that door, which can lead to the Purgatorio proprio and then to Paradiso. So they're singing the praises of the Madonna. Salve regina in sul verde, in sul fiori, quindi seder cantando, anime vidi che per la valle non parean di fuori. Prima che il poco sole ormai s'annidi, cominciò il mantoan, che ci aveva volti, tra color non vogliate che io vi guidi. You can't let me, I can't go amongst those people there. I'm not allowed, Sordello says, but of course they can. Di questo balzo meglio gli atti ai volti conoscerete voi di tutti quanti che la lama già tra essi accolti. So Sordello's role as a guide to Dante and Virgilio, the guide, finishes here, I think. Colui che più siede alto e fa sembianti d'aver negletto ciò che far dovea e che non muove bocca agli altrui canti, Rodolfo Imperador fu. So there you'll see in the distance there the Imperatore. Che potea sanar le piaghe che hanno Italia morta. That guy there, the Imperatore, he was in Germany. He was like Frederick II, you know, he was Imperatore. That did not go to Italy to fix up le piaghe in Italy after the fall of the Roman Empire. Slowly but surely was divided up into many parts, and a lot of the external kings and emperors, etc., sometimes neglected her. And therefore, as a result of that, Dante puts them in, you know, but they were good people. They were good governors of their own lands, but not of the lands that they had conquered. And they're supposed to be all one. Rodolfo, imperatore, fu che poteva sanare le piaghe che hanno Italia morta. Because in the previous canto, if you remember, he says that l'Italia si trova in una posizione molto svantaggiata, because it doesn't have its own rulers, and even the Pope, only looks after his own little area. Sì che tardi per altri si ricrea. That's in a temporal sense, materialistic sense. L'altro che nella vista lui conforta, resse la terra dove l'acqua nasce che molto inalbia e albia in mar ne porta. Ottacchero ebbe nome e nelle fasce fu meglio assai che Vincislao suo figlio barbuto, cui lussuria e ozio pasce. Again, you gotta look at the notes. E quel nasetto che stretta a consiglio, par che con colui che sì benigno aspetto, morì fuggente e disfiorando il giglio. Guardate là come si batte il petto. Oh, why didn't I protect the people, eccetera, eccetera. L'altro, vedete, che ha fatto e la guancia della sua palma sospirando letto, padre e suocero sol del mal di Francia. Father and daughter in France, the kings there. So that's another lot of people, part of that group. Sanno la vita sua viziata e lorda. They enjoyed this, their governing. E quindi viene il duolo che si rilancia. And that's because they didn't quite govern the way they're supposed to, with the grace of God and looking after everybody, etc., etc., etc. Then they got to Purgatorio. But they did believe. They didn't stop the church laws from being, from being in their kingdoms. Quel che parsi m'è bruto è che s'accorda cantando con colui dal maschio naso, d'ogni valor porta cinta la corda. E se re dopo lui fosse rimaso, lo giovanotto che retro a lui siede, ben andava il valor di vaso in vaso, che non li puote dir dell'altre erede. Again, notes, historical notes. Giacomo e Federico hanno i reami, del retaggio miglior nessun possiede, rade volte risurge per i rami l'umana probitate, e questo vuole quel che la dà perché da lui si chiami. Again, welcome to Salvina Matosovic. That's fantastic that you're coming on as well. We're talking about Purgatorio, Canto 7. And here I'm reading through sections of this canto that requires a lot more study in terms of the souls that were punished for redemption because they are in Purgatorio. Quel che là perché da lui si chiama. Anche al nasuto vanno mie parole, non men che l'altro, Pier che con lui canta, onde Puglia e Proenza già si dole. La Puglia, the Frederick II, a lot of the rulers came from, because of Charlemagne, he had created the Second Holy Roman Empire. And then when he died, of course, the children, because they had adopted the feudal system, they divided up the lands. And therefore, when you divide anything, unity is strength. So these people here weren't up to, well, they did all right, but not quite. Tant'è del seme suo minor la pianta, quanto più che Beatrice e Margherita, Costanza di marito ancor si vanta. Vedete il re della semplice vita seder là solo, al rigo d'Inghilterra. Questi ha nei rami suoi migliore uscita. Quel che più basso tra costoro s'atterra, guardando in su, è Guglielmo Marchese, per cui è Alessandria e la sua guerra fa piangere Monferrato e Canavese. So, here we go, see? quello che fra costoro sta è il marchese Guglielmo, a causa del quale Alessandria e la sua della città, guerra contro i discendenti di lui, recano desolazione, fa piangere al Monferrato e al Canavese. Guglielmo VII, detto Spadalunga, marchese del Monferrato in Piemonte, combatté a lungo contro i comuni guelfi. Gli alessandrini, ribellassisi, lo fecero prigioniero e lo chiusero in una gabbia di ferro dentro la quale morì. Il figlio tentò di vendicarlo e ne nacque una lunga guerra che investì il Monferrato e il vicino Canavese. See, this is a very detailed history notes from the book. Now, I have this book here. I have Purgatorio. I have Purgatorio and Paradiso of this book, and I have the Inferno of the others. Look them up. I'll put them on my Insegna.com in the literature, Italian literature section. You go to you go to shop, you press shop, and the languages come down. Italian comes along. Then you press Italy. You go on the side. There's a little like triangle. You go to that, and I put. And there you then select from the 10 different categories of Italian resources, the one that you need, which is Purgatorio. If you're interested in studying it. If you're not, you can also do the same by going online and just, go to Chrome or Google. I'm interested in you learning about Dante, honestly. If anyone comes and helps Insegna.com, so be it. But it's not necessary. Okay, so thank you very much for this today. It's 11:55. I've finished a little bit earlier today. Let me see. I want to read something. I'll read you something. Here, I've got here, I principi negligenti di Dante e le concezioni medievali del Rex Inutilis. I'm going to read just a little part. I've got 5 minutes, which I can dedicate to this. But lo faccio in italiano, lo leggo in italiano. Nel canto settimo del Purgatorio sono rappresentate le anime dei principi che sono stati negligenti sia negli affari spirituali sia in quelli temporali. Il sesto ed il settimo canto del Purgatorio, in effetti, costituiscono un ampio e serrato commento politico in cui la figura dominante è quella del poeta provenzale, Sordello, ed il tono prevalente è quello dell'invettiva scurrile contro quei vizi che impediscono ai principi deboli di governare in modo giusto. Le figure che compaiono nel settimo canto del Purgatorio, tuttavia, non rientrano facilmente nelle categorie eticamente polarizzate dei buoni e dei cattivi reggitori, i quali occupano una gran parte dell'attenzione e dell'invettiva di Dante nel resto della Commedia. Questi reggitori non sono buoni né completamente cattivi, sono dei negligenti, degli incapaci, dei codardi. Si avvicinano alla figura del Rex Inutilis, molto di più che non a quelle tradizionali del Rex Justus e del Tyrannus. Il re inutile, il reggitore legittimo del tutto incapace a governare, era un tipo politico sviluppatosi nell'immaginazione popolare e nel pensiero giuridico tra l'VIII e il XIII secolo. So this people who governed, the kings che non erano utili, they looked after themselves. But we have that in our political system now, that people go into politics not to do their own bidding, to look after their own affairs and to enjoy the spoils of winning an election. The minute you win the elections, then ministers and they start traveling. Everyone looks after them because everybody wants something from them. What do they want? They want a portion of the taxes that we pay for the general good of the public. These are laws that come from way back and that make their way into all political systems, whether it's a kingship or emperor or tyrant or dictator or democratic governor, whatever. Important to remember this. La visita nella Valle dei Principi fornì così a Dante l'opportunità di trattare un tema politico dibattuto meno frequentemente di quelli che era abituato ad affrontare, un tema le cui radici si estendono nel regno della teoria giuridica e politica ufficiale, ed insieme nel vocabolario più allusivo e meno rigorosamente strutturato dalla satira politica popolare. Now, we make fun of the people at the top. That's la satira politica popolare. But some of these, the opportunity that Dante had by visiting Canto 6 and 7 is he wants to talk about the problems of governing a place like in Italy that was in the hands of other people, of other rulers from outside, and therefore they couldn't be there. So the people, you know, the barons, the counts, they're all, the feudal system was a good one in that it gave the emperor the God-given powers. Dal punto di vista giuridico, in other words, from the point of view law and order, of structures, in other words, roads, you know, trade, all sorts of activities. He was the ultimate responsible, and spiritually as well. And for spirituality, he had to go through the Pope. This is between the 8th century and the 13th century, until the arrival of the Rinascimento. Now, the Renaissance, when it arrived, it started to challenge some of these concepts. But why? Because they were, it's like us now with our technology. We use technology now as part of our life. Yet, amongst us, a lot of people don't use it still. They still say, oh, c'ho solo bisogno del telefono. Oh, non lo voglio fare, non voglio farmi vedere. But, you know, you got 5Gs all over the place. And people are scared to be caught out by their friends on Facebook, on this and that. They're scared. Why? It's something that's coming. Whether you like it or not, non c'è niente che è segreto più. Okay, it's 12:01. I'm going to stop there and go to another local poet. Come next week. The local poet, this poet here, because don't forget, you know, it's all about love. This poet here is called Amica Poesia by TomPadula, L'Amore. This is book number 2, volume 2 of my twin texts. But unfortunately, I did not make enough copies of Amica Poesia 2. I only got a few. I didn't have the, you know, the resources at the time to go all the way, because the books haven't, you know, they don't sell well, all these things that we do. People not interested, really. We do this for our own vanity. My wife used to call it, Nella used to call it vanity publishing. Because we dealt with so much, you know, so many books coming from all over the place, and I still do that too. But one has to realize that in order to do certain things, they appear okay for a quarter of an hour, you know, half an hour when they first get published. But within a year, if you haven't sold them in the first few months, then you've got to be really good, and you have to become really, really famous in order for you to sell a book, your own book. So that's why sometimes it takes centuries for somebody to be appreciated. By that time, it doesn't help you in today's world. I'm not really complaining. I'm just trying to explain these things in terms of daily life. The best way to do it is to have joy and happiness in your heart. When people have a different view of you, che testa dura che c'hai, you know, you don't listen to anyone, you cut people off, you do this, you do that. God. Anyway, never mind. Okay, this one here. The first poem, we're going to continue from last week. The first poem in this chapter, Love, is an attempt at defining what love is. Where and when we can find it, or better still, when does it find us? My friend's smile was written when a friend of mine went to Italy for a year to improve his Italian. There he met someone very special. He used to mention her name often, as if he could not live without her. His love for this young woman was particularly intense during the first few months of his return to Australia. And this guy always remained on Don Giovanni, you know, he loved love. Good too. There are so many more poems about love. Indeed, this first chapter is dedicated to love. It is one of the recurrent themes of my poetry. I finish off the chapter with a song, Long Live Love, Hooray. Then I proceed to explore love and marriage. To finish, there is a special subsection about an Italo-Australian wedding in Swan Hill, a country town north of the state of Victoria in Australia, a lucky country. I finish off this chapter on love by including also some poems on happiness. I hope that whoever follows the path of love will also be blessed with a state of happiness. It seems to me that love and happiness are natural allies. Now, if you want to, both these volumes are available online, free of charge. You can read me up in TomPadulaTV.blogspot.com. There's a list, and in there you will find these books here. You can turn the pages there. It's all online work. Have a look at these books. You can read them out both in English and in Italian. And I think I also read them out as well. Questo è in inglese, vero? L'abbiamo detto. In italiano, ecco qua. La prima poesia di questo capitolo su amore, su questo libro qui, Amica Poesia. Su amore è un tentativo per definire che cos'è l'amore, dove e quando lo possiamo trovare, o meglio ancora, quando esso trova noi. Il sorriso del mio amico fu scritto quando un mio amico andò in Italia per un anno per migliorare il suo italiano. Là incontrò qualcuno molto speciale, parlava spesso di lei, come se non potesse vivere senza di lei. Il suo amore per questa giovane donna era particolarmente intenso durante i primi mesi del suo ritorno in Australia. Ci sono tante altre poesie sull'amore. Infatti questo primo capitolo è dedicato all'amore. È uno dei temi ricorrenti della mia poesia. Finisco il capitolo con una canzone, Viva l'amore, viva. Poi procedo ad esplorare l'amore ed il matrimonio. Per finire c'è una sezione minore su un'occasione di un matrimonio italo-australiano a Swan Hill, un paese di campagna a nord dello stato del Victoria in Australia, il nostro paese fortunato. Finisco questo capitolo sull'amore includendo anche alcune poesie sulla felicità. Spero che chiunque segua i sentieri dell'amore sarà anche benedetto con uno stato di felicità. L'amore e la felicità mi sembrano essere alleati naturali. E dalla prossima settimana vi comincio a leggere le poesie. Ok? Now, maybe I've got 12 or 7. You know what? I will read you the first poem today because I've got the songs. I don't think I've got enough material there for you. I might as well dedicate it to l'amore. We talked about it. Okay, and also il sorriso del mio amico. We could do that too, maybe. Ok. L'amore è passeggero, va a passeggio per il mondo intero. Tutti ne parlano, tutti lo vogliono incontrare. E lui si avvicina e dice sempre, ciao, come stai? È sicuro, è allegro, è compagnone, è amico. L'amore è realtà per quelli che hanno il cuore pieno di bontà. L'amore lo si abbraccia, lo si stringe forte forte, lo si accarezza, lo si accetta tal com'è. L'amore vuole compagnia, tutti lo sanno se ce l'hanno. L'amore non muore mai, è vagabondo, questo si sa. L'amore va dappertutto, sempre correndo, sempre giocando, sempre cantando, come un bambino che fa rallegrare. L'amore è ricco di varietà, che cambia la fantasia in realtà. L'amore è vita, allegria e felicità. L'amore è quello che si vuol far. L'amore è speranza e carità. L'amore è amare la gente con tutto il cuore, senza aver per loro pietà. L'amore è dire buongiorno la mattina al tuo vicino. L'amore è libertà e verità, è fiducia, è fratellanza, è uguaglianza. L'amore tutto circonda, tutto vuole amare. It's my definition of love. But I can't remember now whether I wrote this in Italian or in English first. Here we go. Love is fleeting. It goes walking throughout the world. Everyone speaks of it. Everyone wants to meet it. It comes close and says always, hello, how are you? It is confident. It is happy. It is a good company. It is a friend. Love is reality for those who have their hearts full of kindness. You embrace love. You hug it every night. You caress it. You accept it as it is. Love needs company. Everyone knows this if they have it. Love never dies. Love can be a vagabond. This is well known. It goes everywhere, always running, playing, singing. Like a child who makes you happy. Love is rich in variety and changes fantasy into reality. Love is life, joy, happiness. Love is what you want to do. Love is hope and charity. Love is to love people with all your heart, without pitying them. Love is to say good morning to your neighbour. Love is freedom and truth. It is trust, fraternity, equality. Love surrounds all and loves everything. Did you like that? I've read it this time. It was not too bad at all, I think, as a definition of love. Of course, you can dispute it, and that's where the study of anything, and you can give your own interpretation. If there's anything missing, go for it. The second poem, which I will do, is Il sorriso del mio amico. Che sorriso sul viso del mio amico quando egli parla della donna sua. I'll do this for you this time. I'll actually show you the pages. Here we go. Now the problem I got here, I'm trying to keep the other page open. Oopla. No, we don't want that. Did we turn it around? Never mind. Okay, so here we go. Did I turn it around? No. That's it. Okay. That's it, there it is. Ok, il sorriso del mio amico. Che sorriso sul viso del mio amico quando egli parla della donna sua. Diventa più bambino, pieno di felicità. Pensa a lei. Vorrebbe tenerla stretta stretta vicino a sé la notte. Poi il suo sguardo s'allontana. Chissà dove lei, dice, e ricorda quei momenti lì vicino al mare, quell'ultima volta prima di partire. Ah, dico, sono più belli i sogni che la realtà. Ma il mio amico sorride col suo sguardo vagabondo e come per dire è bella e tace. My good friend, eh? That was a good friend of mine. I won't mention him. Okay. My friend's smile. This was written 50 years ago, almost. What a smile on the face of my friend when he speaks to me of his woman. He becomes like a child again, full of happiness. He thinks of her. He'd like to hold her very close at night. He looks in the distance. I wonder where she's now, he says, and remembers those moments by the seashore, that last time before leaving. I say to him, dreams are more beautiful than reality. But my friend smiles with his vagabond look, and if to say, she's beautiful, instead he chooses silence. Okay, there you are. Now, when I read this now, just now, I got the idea, I thought, you know what, Tom? You know, even the occasion where when you write something. Now, I know this a friend of mine, a very close friend of mine, that you know, we've sort of lost track too. But there's always, it's always my friend, even if I don't see them. The people I've met in the past, they're always my friends. I respect them, love them, but then sometimes life takes you in different directions. And that's what happens with all of us. You know, we can't be someone else. We are who we are. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the songs. I love this part. You know, I've always, this part that I do now, because I want you to come and sing at Federazione Lucana and also at Il Carretto. Let me see if I go. Yes, it's here. I'm getting better at this. Sometimes I'm nervous because I get here. But this morning I went to see my grandson's Michael football game for half of the time because I had to rush back to, you know, to prepare for this particular this particular podcast. And I thought to myself, you know, but at the end of the day, these are things, this is an obligation on my part, and I take my obligation. When I make a promise, I keep it. I really try to keep it. Here we go. Now we're going to start here. Here we go. This is Trio Lucano. This is Angelo and Dora Marchese's place. There they are. The angel is gone, of course, and this is another Trio Lucano because I come from the same place. And I think there is a song straight after this, which we're going to play. Yes, we can. Let's go. Well, good afternoon. I'm going to enjoy this particular time with Dora and Rina, and we're going to start with Parlami d'amore Mario, a song made famous by the film Gli uomini che mascalzoni. It's a very old one, but you know, the songs, the lyrics is what counts. Okay, so I'm going to start. Come sei bella, più bella stasera, Mario. Splende un sorriso di stella negli occhi tuoi blu. Anche se avverso il destino domani sarà, oggi ti sono vicino perché sospirar non pensar. Parlami d'amore, Mario, tutta la mia vita sei tu. Gli occhi tuoi belli brillano, fiamme di sogno scintillano. Dimmi che illusione non è, dimmi che sei tutta per me. Qui sul tuo cuore non soffro più. Parlami d'amore, Mario. So che una bella e malgrada sirena sei tu. So che si perde chi guarda negli occhi tuoi blu. Ma che Dora didn't approve of this section. I don't blame her. Meglio nel gorgo profondo, ma sempre con te, sì con te. Parlami d'amore, Mario, tutta la mia vita sei tu. Gli occhi tuoi belli brillano, fiamme di sogno scintillano. Dimmi che illusione non è, dimmi che sei tutta per me. Qui sul tuo cuore non soffro più. Now, you can say to me, why did you play that? Huh? Because when people make songs, they sing it 100 times, and they pick out one bit at a time and edit. And then they're marvelous singers because they just give perfection. If you dress up beautifully all the time, we never get to know you, but that particular moment is captured. And if you're then able to sell that moment, that's when you make real money. And that's a lot of people spend months and months and months doing that for professional reasons. But singing is for everyone. Singing is joy in your heart. And if you make mistakes, so you put it on social media. You shouldn't put it on the. Why not? Pavarotti could sing for nothing or for $1 million. Does it matter? He was good, fantastic guy. And he performed in front of thousands and thousands of people. But here now we do. But it's only an image. It's not in real life. So come to Federazione Lucana and to Il Carretto, and let's see whether we can do something in real life. Okay, let's get back to where we are. The next one, I'll go to the next song. This one here is... This next song is Un'ora sola ti vorrei, and was sung initially by Fedora Mingarelli, and most people just do the ritornello, most singers since then, and they've left out the first part and last part, and they've concentrated mainly on the chorus part, Un'ora sola ti vorrei. But I'm going to do the whole lot, and because I want to actually, I want people to study the lyrics of these songs. So here we go, Un'ora sola ti vorrei. C'è nel mio cuore, quando mi guardi tu, un desiderio che non mi lascia più. Freme la vita mia vicino a te, mi scordo il mondo e tu lo sai perché. Un'ora sola ti vorrei, io che non so scordarti mai, per dirti ancora i baci miei, che cosa sei per me. Un'ora sola ti vorrei, per dirti quello che non sai, ed in quest'ora donerei la vita mia per te. Solo in quest'ora vive un'eternità, fammi sognare e tutto dimenticar. Dammi l'incanto che non ebbe ancora, il desiderio che tormenta il cuore. Un'ora sola ti vorrei, io che non so scordarti mai, per dirti ancora nei baci miei, che cosa sei per me. Un'ora sola ti vorrei, per dirti quello che non sai. And that's, that's another one. That's Dora wants to get the perfection, but the first part there was pretty good, really, and then we did it again. We did it again, and where is it now? Well, when we come to it, we'll play it. Okay, now the next one, if it's this one here, I'm not sure. It's the same one. This one here. Let's have a look. What's this? Well, going to try Parlami d'amore, Mario. Here we are. A second time, and let's hope that we can actually iron out all the bits and pieces that you know, you can get wrong when you first try it. Of course, la ripetizione è importante, and that's why and producers in general, they want perfection, but it takes months and months and months. You can't do it. You can't do it unless you spend the time on it. So with the music, with songs, with anything really, you know, the repetition and is very important. So here we go with Parlami d'amore Mario, made famous by the film Gli uomini che mascalzoni. So here we go. Come sei bella, non pensar, parlami d'amore Mario, tutta la mia vita sei tu. Gli occhi tuoi belli brillano, fiamme di sogno scintillano. Dimmi che illusione non è, dimmi che sei tutta per me. Qui sul tuo cuore non soffro più, parlami d'amore Mario. Now Dora's going to play just the bit with music. Come on. So che una bella e magliarda sirena sei tu, so che si perde chi guarda quegli occhi tuoi blu, ma che mi importa se il mondo si burla di me, meglio nel gorgo profondo, ma sempre con te, sì con te. Parlami d'amore, Mario, tutta la mia vita sei tu, gli occhi tuoi belli brillano, fiamme di sogno scintillano, dimmi che illusione non è, dimmi che sei tutta per me, qui sul tuo cuore non soffro più, parlami d'amore, Mario. That wasn't too bad at all, actually. The end part, but you know, again, you can it's a problem sometimes knowing what you got to do at the right time. But let's not forget, you know, I get there and we do 5 or 6 songs without rehearsal. We just go straight into it. You know, when we repeat one a couple of times, I don't like it. I just want to do it straight away and that's it. And film. Challenging people. Let me see this one here. This next song is called The Reginella, and it's a nice one. Because Roberto Muro from Naples sings it in an extraordinary way, and the words are just beautiful. The word Reginella, and I think I've actually done this without music, but today Dora is here and Rina is here, and we're going to do it together because it's one of those songs that they've always played with Angelo when they were out and about around Melbourne. So here we go, Reginella. And I'm sure I'm going to run with our friends us doing it. Ti sei terra resta scullata, un cappiello quel nastro e quel rosa, stile mezza tra quattro chantosa, e parlava francese così. Fu l'altriere che t'ha incontrata, fu l'altriere che conosci, t'ha voluto bene a te, tu l'hai voluto bene a me, ma non chiamami più, mai potrò distrattamente pensa a me. Regina, come stivo conmigo, non mangiava capace rasa, non cantava le vase che vasa, non cantava e chiamiva per me, e o cantino cantava cotito, Reginello va bene scure, t'ha voluto bene a te, t'ha voluto bene a me, ma non chiamami più, mai voglio tu, distrattamente pensa a me. Unica Dio che aspetto stasera, non lo vede già aperta la viola, Reginelle volata e tu vola, vuole tanto e tanto racca, ta giovana patrona sincera, che più degno a sentirti cantare, t'ha voluto bene a te, tu l'hai voluto bene a me, ma non c'è nemmeno più, mai potrò, dice c'è nella piesa me. Wow, I think it's a good one to finish off the program for today. Thank you very much for all those people who've come on this Sunday. Appreciate your company, your encouragement whenever you come on, and I mentioned your name, but there are also about 100 people coming on now to watch it as a podcast. Spread the word. It's good fun. Okay, there's a problem today with Telstra. They stopped the. I'm not sure whether this happened, whether in fact there was a bit of a stoppage. They said that I had to change from 4G to 5G pole, but we've already done it, so I don't understand. So these are the things that happen live on Facebook or live on anything. So that's it. Grazie mille. Thank you very much for today. Next week, until next week, auguri, stay healthy, smile, do whatever you can, as long as you're happy. Okay? Ciao, ciao. Tom Padula from TomPadulaTV on YouTube and Insegna Booksellers.